In this video, we're going to take a look at 7 questions from the JEE Advanced exam, and we're going to solve all of them, which is worth 28 points in roughly 14 minutes, which means 2 marks per minute. Let's take a look at the first question. This is question 7. It has to do with differential equations. What can we do over here? Well, we can solve this, right? This is separable differential equation, so that's dy dx is equal to y over b squared plus x squared. Let's make it nice and neat for us. This is now a very easy form to integrate, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Once we do this, on the left hand side we get the natural log of absolute value of y. On the right hand side we get 1 over b arc tan of x over b. If you don't know this, you can prove it to yourself as well. Just use the chain rule a little bit and you'll see that. And so if we do e to raise both e to both of the powers, we'll get to both the exponents, we get this. Sorry, this should be up here. And from here, you can already narrow down some of the options, right? Tan inverse of x over b. We know that if you take the derivative of this, what is y prime going to be? It's going to be, well, 1 over b. So let's write the equal sign. I forgot that. It's going to be e to this entire thing, right? Because e to the u is just e to the derivative of e to the u is e to the u du. And what is du over here going to be? Well, let me move my camera out of the way. This is just going to be 1 over b squared 1 plus x over b squared here. And you can simplify this to 1 over x squared plus b squared, and that's probably a neater way of doing it. The point though is that if b is greater than 0, it's an increasing function. Well, the derivative is always going to be positive because this is going to be positive, this is going to be positive. So if the derivative is positive, it's always increasing, meaning it's never decreasing. So b doesn't make sense. F of x times f of negative x, well, let's put that in and see. What would we get if we did that? We'd get e to the 1 over b times arc tan of x over b and arc tan of negative x over b, which are actually opposites. So when you multiply them, you're going to add the exponents, which gives you, that'll end up becoming 0. It'll be 1 over b times something times negative 1 over b times the same something. That's going to cancel to 0, giving you that it does equal 1. And this just does not make sense. You can try it out yourself. It's going to be one positive minus another positive, which aren't necessarily the same. So this is definitely not true. So it's A and C, and you're done with the first question. What about the second one? This one's actually probably an even easier question. You just need to understand the concept understand what you're doing. If these 2 points are mirror images of each other over the plane, you know that the plane has to pass through its through their midpoint. What is a midpoint going to be? It's going to be 2, 1, 0. This midpoint has to satisfy the equation of the plane. How do we find alpha, beta, and gamma? Well, alpha, beta, and gamma just come from the slopes, right? Because it has to be perpendicular. So the alpha, beta, and gamma are going to be proportional to 3 minus 2, 2 minus 0, and negative 1 minus 1, right? So alpha is going to equal 3 minus 1. Beta is going to be 2 minus 0. And what is gamma going to be? Gamma is going to be negative 1 minus negative 1. Just be careful with the signs here. This is 2, this is 2, this is 0. Okay, we've got this. Unfortunately, we're not done just yet because first of all, it doesn't have to be 2. They just have to be in this ratio. Luckily, we're given alpha plus gamma is equal to 1, so we can divide everything by 2. Alpha equals 1, beta equals 1, gamma equals 0. Right? This is just dividing by 2. What's the next step? Now we plug in this point over here, right? We get 2 times alpha, so 2 times 1 plus beta is going to be 1. So that's 1 times 1 plus y is going to be 0, and y is going to be, what is the midpoint? It's going to be 0 times 0, so it doesn't matter. Obviously, there's 1 0, it's going to be 0. This is equal to gamma. So what is gamma equal to? Gamma is equal to 3. Using this, alpha plus beta, we've got, sorry, not gamma, that's delta. Delta. Now we just check these, right? Alpha plus beta is 2. Yes, that's true. Delta minus gamma is 3. Delta minus gamma is 3. Yes, that's correct. Alpha plus beta plus gamma is not equal to 3. That's not true. Delta plus beta is 4. Yes, that's correct as well. And we're done with the second question. Moving on to the third one. There are a lot of these now. I just put them together because they're all pretty simple. If you're thinking about this, you can try to draw it out visually, right? Let's say these are your days. Let's draw 11 of them. I'm not going to draw all of them, but let's pretend there are 11 of these. And each of these represents one of the days that you're not going to be taking a visit. when can you take your visits? Because you're separated by at least one day, because there are no consecutive days. If you want to pause it and read over the question once, the point is you can take something like this, right? You have to be separated by at least one line. And so in the end, what we get is we get 11 lines and we get 12 options, 12 gaps. And you have to populate these gaps with 4 days that you pick. So that's just going to be 12 choose 4. Now it's just a little bit of computation. So 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Cancel, cancel, 5. What do we have now? We have 55 times 9, or probably 45 times 11 is easier. That's 450 plus 45, which is 495. Done. Next question. In a hotel, 4 rooms are available. 6 persons are to be accommodated in these 4 rooms in such a way that each of these rooms contains at least 1 person and at most 2 persons. The number of all possible ways in which this can be done is what? Well, obviously there are going to be 2 rooms. If you think about it, there are going to be 2 rooms that have 1 person each and 2 rooms that have 2 people each. How do you pick the 2 rooms with 2 people each? You pick the first 2 people to go together, right? Then you pick the second 2 people to go together, and then the other 2 people will be on their own. So this gives you the people, but you have to divide by 2, because you might get the same group in 2 different orders, right? And order does not matter. What does matter is which rooms you assign them to, right? And so to assign them to the rooms, imagine that you just put them in any random combination of the rooms. Like you put the first 2 people in room A, the second 2 people in room B, and then room C, room D. You can also do like C, D, B, A, right? So you have to multiply by the number of ways you can switch those for, which is going to be 4 factorial. And so what is this? This is going to be a final answer. What is it? It's 15 times 6 over 2 times 24, which is 15 times what? 15 times 72. Do the math here. It's going to give you 720 plus 360, which is 1080. And we're done with this one. Next one. This one's actually one of the easier questions, I'd say. 2 fed dice. Each of these faces are rolled together and the sum of the numbers on the faces is observed. The process is repeated till the sum is either a prime number. Okay, all of this does not really matter. What are the possible perfect squares you can have? You can't have 1 because you're adding 2 numbers from 2 through 6, so 1 is impossible. You can have 4. You can have 9. How many ways are there to get 4? You can have 1, 3, 2, 2, or 3, 1. For 9, you can have 3, 6, 4, 5, 5, 4, and then 6, 3. Right? You might have done these if you've played games or whatever before, if you've done these sorts of questions, but you'll see that the probability of getting the 9, which is the odd perfect square, is going to be 4 out of 7. So you multiply that by 14 and you get 8. That's it. It's easy as that. Let the function be defined by this. First thing to notice is that these are up to 1, these are up to 1. And like, you could spend a lot of other time doing it. What gave it away to me was that you've got 1 and 39 over 40, 2 and 38, blah, blah, blah. And in the middle, you're going to have 20 over 40. But then you're subtracting off this 20 over this 1 over 2, which is 20 over 40, right? And so that kind of gave me the clue that you should put them together. If you do the math, you'll see that 4 over x and 4 over x plus 2, if you want to just show it for yourself, right? This is going to, first of all, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. What we're doing is x and 1 minus x. So we just want to see what this works out to. And when you do the algebra, you're going to get this times this is 4 plus 2 times 4 to the x. This times this is also 4 plus 2 times 4 to the 1 minus x. What's the denominator going to be though? It's going to be 4 plus 2 times 4 to the 1 minus x plus 2 times 4 to the x plus 2 times 2, which is another 4. These are the exact same thing. So you get 1, right? Okay, wonderful. So 1 and 1 over 40, 39 over 40, they're going to give you 1. The next pair, 2 and 38, is going to give you another 1. How many such pairs are there? There are going to be 38 pairs. So it's going to be 38 pairs. Sorry, not 38 pairs. There are going to be 38 terms. So 38 divided by 2, which is 19 pairs. Then you have plus f of 20 over 40. And luckily, you're subtracting off f of 1/2. So these cancel out. And 19 is your final answer. That's all you're left with. It simplifies very, very easily there. What about this last question over here? This one looks a little bit trickier. And it isn't. If you actually go and expand it, right, you actually have to go through the work. You'll notice that you have a very nice relationship here in the sense that all of these are related, right? F prime of x, then you have lowercase f of x, and then you have uppercase f of x. So let's put them together somehow. This looks pretty messy. Luckily, we can break it up like this. Right, this is going to be our first one. And then we're adding to this one. Let's see where this takes us, right? And of course, yeah, so this is what we have. Let's start with this one because we can integrate f prime of x, right? When you integrate f prime of x, you get f of x. So let's take a look at that. You're going to get f of x times cosine of x minus the integral of f of x times the derivative of cosine of x. What is this equal to? This is obviously the first term will remain. Also, there are bounds. I'm just going to write them in later so I save space. This gives you, so just pay careful attention to the signs. No pun intended because there's a sign right here. Yeah, and now what you're going to do here is, well, it hasn't simplified much apparently, but what you can do, so I'm going to rewrite it here. You can write this integral as uppercase f of x because you're integrating again, and then subtract f of x cosine of x because that's a derivative of sine of x dx. What is this? This is equal to this right over here, right? So we're adding this to this, and what do you see? Also, yeah, I mean, this is why I should have put the bounds. This is 0 to pi, this is 0 to pi, this is 0 to pi. Now when you put it together, this is going to cancel completely with this, and what you're left with is nothing but this little equation here, which works out very, very nicely for us. Why does this work out nicely for us, you might wonder? It's equal to 2. Sine of x is equal to 0 whether you're at pi or 0. So this is nothing, that's 0. So this is all we have to worry about. F of pi times cosine of pi, which is -1, minus, what is f of 0? What is cosine of 0? It's 1. So it's just minus f of 0 is equal to 2, which means f of 0 is equal to negative f of pi minus 2. What is f of pi? Oh, we just happen to be given f of pi equals, wait 1 second. Cosine of pi is -1. I think I made a mistake somewhere here. This seems wrong. Yeah, okay, let's just make sure we're doing this right. Minus f of pi. Yeah, okay, no, it's all good. So f of pi is -6. So f of 0 is equal to -6 minus 2, which is 6 minus 2, which is 4. And with that, we're done with this one as well. This was worth 4 marks on the test, right? I think this one is a little bit challenging that you have to like actually do the integration by parts and set it up. This one you have to notice that observation. It will be pretty challenging without, but at the same time, if you've seen these sorts of questions, it shouldn't be too difficult. This one is a very easy question, I'd say, question 15. So definitely don't mess it up on the test. Like all this stuff about the prime numbers is kind of just a red herring, had no significance on the final answer. This one is just not too difficult either. You just have to think it through properly. Here you needed some creativity if you haven't done this sort of stuff before. Wasn't obvious to me immediately, but eventually I decided on this. So that's all of these are +4. That's why it's 28 marks. This one isn't too difficult. Like literally, it's like what? It's like 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. That's it. And then you just check the answers. This one was a little bit more involved in that you had to actually solve the differential equation and then proceed from there. So this is probably the hardest question, but like, I mean, for a test like this, I think these questions are definitely easier. That's why I wanted to share them, show you that everything isn't as hard as it might seem on the JEE Advanced. And yeah, so that's 28 points, 7 questions times 4, 28 points in like just over 14 minutes. So good luck for the test if you're taking it. If you have any more questions, anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I love making videos like this. I hope you enjoy them as well. Thanks so much for watching.